Welcome. My name is Linda Whitmore, and I am an Assistant Vice President for the League of Women Voters of West Contra Costa County. Good evening, and welcome to everybody. Thank you for joining us for tonight's candidate forum for the City of Richmond elections to be held on June 2nd, 2026. As I said, my name is Linda Whitmore, and I will be giving an introduction for you tonight. We are pleased to co-host this forum with the City of Richmond, the Richmond Chamber of Commerce, and Black Women Organized for Political Action. Some of you know it as BWOPA. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan membership organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. The League does not endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. For more than a century, the League has provided fair and balanced candidate forums to help voters learn about the people running for office. While the League may take positions on public policy issues through its advocacy work, tonight's forum is presented by the League's voter education arm, which is strictly nonpartisan. Tonight's moderator is Champagne Brown. Champagne is a dedicated advocate for marginalized communities. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta sorority. I should say Sorority Inc. Sorry about that. Since 2014, she has been leading efforts in the Bay Area to fight systemic inequities and build political power. She works as an employment and training worker for the City and County of San Francisco and holds many key leadership roles in labor and community organizing. She serves as SEIU 1021's chair of the Political Education Committee and as chapter president of their Human Services Agency in San Francisco. Tonight, she represents Black Women Organized for Political Action, where she is Region 1 Director of the Richmond Contra Costa County chapter. So please, join me in welcoming our moderator, Champagne Brown.
Thank you, Linda. Before we begin, I would like to review the format and the ground rules for tonight's forum. All candidates have agreed to participate under the League of Women Voters Guideline for Civil and Respectful Discussion. This is an educational forum, not a debate. A few logistics. Microphones are muted for everyone except for the candidates and the moderator. The audience chat function on Zoom has been disabled. Questions have been solicited from community members, and we will also accept questions from our in-person audience members, and will include them as time permits. All questions will be shown on the screen. This forum is being recorded and will be posted online so that members of the community who cannot attend tonight may watch later. Tonight's forums cover the offices of Mayor of Richmond, Richmond City Council, District 3, Richmond City Council, District 4. Our policy is to only include candidates with opposition. District 2 candidate is unopposed and therefore not included in this forum. Our protocol is to include all filed and qualified candidates, as well as those running as write-in candidates who have evidence of a bona fide campaign. There are 5 candidates running for mayor and 6 candidates running for city council. Because of the number of candidates, we will hold 2 separate forums tonight. The first forum will be the Mayor of Richmond, and the second forum will be the City Council, Districts 3 and 4. There will be a 10-minute break between the 2 forums. Forum format. Each candidate forum will follow this structure. Opening statement, 2 minutes per candidate. Question period, 8 questions, 1 minute per question. Closing statement, 1 minute. Questions were submitted in advance by community members and local league members. They were screened to ensure fairness, neutrality, and to avoid duplication. The order of candidate responses will be randomly assigned and will alternate throughout the forum. A countdown timer will appear on the screen. Candidates will be notified when time is nearly up. I will also give a verbal reminder. If a candidate exceeds the time limit, I will allow them to finish their sentence and then ask them to stop. There will be no rebuttal periods. Candidates may address additional points during their closing statement. Candidates who violate the ground rules may be muted or prevented from answering further questions. And with that, we will begin our mayor forum. So we will begin with 2 minutes opening statements and for each candidate. The speaking order was randomly assigned. So for opening statements, the assigned order is Martinez, Jimenez, Anderson, Wasberg, Johnson. Mayor Martinez, please proceed with your opening statement.
Okay, thank you. I was trying to make a point of order. Mr. Johnson's mic is on, and they're all supposed to be off.
No, sir, all the mics will be on.
Please worry about yourself.
His mic is on.
Mayor, as I stated earlier, that all mics for the candidates and the moderator will be on.
Oh, so everyone's mic is on?
I will repeat, as I stated earlier, all mics for the candidates and the mayor will be on. So please proceed with your opening statement.
There was a change. She's right, but there was a change. The mics are off except the person speaking, and they turn their mic on. So they won't be. They're on, but they turn it on before they speak.
I just turned my mic off so he can go ahead with his statement. This seems to be a distraction for him.
That's okay. So all their mics are on.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, we are good. I just want to make sure that everyone's following the rules.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Well, with that, I guess it's easy to understand that I have been an elementary school teacher for 18 years. And before that, I worked in juvenile hall for a year, and I set up a 7th, 8th grade self-contained classroom for truants, expelled students, and students out of juvenile hall not ready to make it into the regular classroom. So I know how to work with all types of people and of all types of dispositions. Anyway, when I was a mayor, before I was a mayor, I was on the city council for 8 years. That means I was elected 2 times, and this is my 4th year as mayor, and I've made a lot of accomplishments. The city has moved forward. We are no longer in arrears. We have the highest rating that we've ever had. We have made a lot of projects. I brought Bloomberg leadership initiatives to the city of Richmond to help train city staff. And we have done that in terms of the port, in terms of the data center, and we will continue doing good things. While I was mayor, the city of Richmond got $6 million for ONS, and we will continue making headway. So I appreciate all of you coming. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, the League Women Voters, for organizing that, and everybody for coming to hear us and our points. I am proud to stand before you as a candidate for mayor, asking for your continued trust. When I first ran for city council, I made a promise to be a responsible steward of your tax dollars, to fight for working families, and to help Richmond step fully into its potential. That is what I had done every single day in office, and it is what I will keep doing as your next mayor. Let me tell you what we have accomplished together. We rebuilt our city's financial foundation. We dig Richmond, and we got Richmond out of the harmful predatory loan agreements with big banks that were costing our taxpayers millions And we grew our reserve from 12% when I got here to 21%. We have more fiscal strength today than we have in a generation. We deployed $10 million into parks and recreation facilities. We went from $4 million to $10 million in pavement and sidewalks improvements to make our streets safer and more accessible, especially for those elder and our neighbors with disabilities. We put $1.2 million into creating the Traffic Calming Safety Division, and we just allocated over $6 million more coming for traffic safety in 2026. We fully
5
staffed
seconds.
our planning, and this is what I am
That is
competent, accountable, and I hope you vote for me. Thank you.
Anderson?
Good evening, League of Women Voters, partners, citizens of Richmond, and guests. My name is Ahmad Anderson, and I'm running for mayor. I looked at the qualification first and foremost and said, you need to be a citizen. I am. I checked that box. But we deserve more. We need leaders who are ethical. We need leaders who are people-centric, focused on the community, the staff that works here in the city. We need somebody like myself who's demonstrated leadership in growing organizations, job creation, such as UPS, FedEx, DHL, which I helped create and bring jobs here to the city of Richmond, and goodwill industry of the Greater East Bay. In addition to that, we need someone who will work with the community, such as working with Steve and Lakeisha Mitchell and Michelle Jones-Jackson to not only do Steve over, but bring forth a new school. Working with Janet Johnson in Shoreline Alliance, not just picking up trash, but connecting them with Richmond Connect to find funding to make sure there's environmental justice. And then, of course, Office of Neighborhood Safety with Michelle Milan. I'm a block captain, working with several other block captains in the city, bridging the gap between the police and really talking about what community policing looks like. Look, Richmond, I see you as one, working together for economic development, building a workforce, creative jobs, communicating how you get those jobs, quality jobs that bring benefits to the community. Public safety, the well-being for all, looking out for everybody, no matter what the zip code. And housing, not just affordable housing, but reasonable housing at every income level. I know that because I'm on the board for fair housing for advocates for Northern California, saving renters from being wrongful eviction and building houses for the community. It's not a privilege, it's a right. Ahmad Anderson, you, we, us together can make a difference. Your voice, our actions matter.
Mr. Wasberg?
Police are overworked, they cannot make most of their 911 calls. Defunding the police.
Oh, sorry about that. Defunding the police out of hate. $3 million were cut by the city council and the mayor. The city spends more money on mandatory overtime than hiring new police officers. They gave the O&S $6 million to take the place of the Richmond PD. It just don't make no sense. The homeless people is another serious problem. They have polluted the city with their garbage, human feces, drugs, and alcohol on streets and street corners and in parks. The Richmond mayor and the city council have spent more money on homeless people, building more shelters than creating job programs and education. For 20 years, the Richmond Progressive Alliance has been dictating the city council, also known as the RPA, which controls the city government, and they claim that they're a democratic social communist party who's dictating police policy in favor of the criminals. We all know what they did. They passed some laws to support criminals. We all know that. And now they're going to try to pass an ordinance tomorrow to try to ban ICE. That ain't going to happen. The real serious is the economic in Richmond. The mayor has plans to close down Chevron, would place 30% of the profit, pays of the budget, and pays for after-school programs and events. No green jobs or small jobs is going to take the place of Chevron. There's no way you could do it. If I'm elected mayor, I will try to stop sensitive destruction ideas. See what they're this is why they got the $500 million to put Chevron out of business. They have some idea that
5
they're,
seconds.
huh?
5 seconds.
They're going to have some ideas that they're going to create these jobs.
That is time. Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Richmond, California. First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters, BWAPA, the City of Richmond, and all of the other organizers for having us tonight. This is a very important conversation that we need to have, and it's very great that we're having it live on television for everyone throughout the city to watch. As mentioned, my name is Dimlis Johnson III, and I am your candidate for mayor of Richmond, California. I'm a fourth-generation Richmond resident. My great-grandparents came here to work in the Kaiser shipyards, and we've been here ever since, living, working, and thriving here in the city of Richmond. Part of my goal as for running for the mayor of the city of Richmond is to improve the quality of life for Richmond residents. Growing up, I had a wonderful childhood, and I experienced a lot of great things here in the city of Richmond. And I want to make sure that that is preserved for the next group of students, for the next group of Richmond kids. Also, I want to make sure that we have real public safety here in the city of Richmond. Right now, we have a reputation throughout the Bay Area that I think that we most definitely don't deserve. Also, economic development, diversifying Richmond's income. We have to make sure that our revenue streams are diverse enough so that way we're not highly dependent upon one revenue stream. We also have to get back to our roots as a manufacturing town here in the city of Richmond. These are the jobs that hire en masse. These are the jobs that attracted my great-grandparents from the Delta of Mississippi and from the backwoods of Arkansas to come all the way out to California seeking opportunity. As mentioned, my name is Dimlis Johnson. I work as a policy professional. I work as an advocate at the state level as well. My role here in the city of Richmond, I've served as a city council member as well as your vice mayor. I've written the reparations, equity, and inclusion package while as a student at the Goldman School of Public Policy at UC Berkeley. I've worked with state legislators to bring in funding for Richmond Build and other programs here in the city of
5
Richmond.
seconds.
And once I'm your mayor, I'll continue to do those things plus more. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. We will now move into the question portion of the forum. Candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question. The rotation for this question will go Jimenez, Anderson, Walsberg, Johnson, and then Martinez. And your question, what is one major decision made by the current mayor that you would have handled differently and why? Jimenez?
Thank you. I think there are some, we have been working together really well. I think one of the decisions that I will be handling different is when he apologized for his post and started with a statement saying that people are not ready to apologize. So I think like that first sentence I will have taken it out because then that was really no okay. But I think in terms of the policy, we had been working really well. And as I said before, he should deserve to finish his mayorship. Richmond has been doing better than before.
That is time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anderson.
Well, I could talk about that comment as well, but I know that even that council person supported the mayor in those comments by lack of action of stepping up and stepping in. But to keep it real, to keep it right, it's where it hits our pocketbook. To go after Chevron for $550 million, that's grand, but that was tactical. It was a ploy just before the election, like a dangling object to show this is what we're doing. They take credit for it. It wasn't the credit of the city council or the mayor. It was the unions. It was the attorney. But what I would do is make sure we have a plan. Make sure that money goes to the families that have been impacted the most, first and foremost. The black, the brown communities, from Parkchester all the way to Point Richmond, Santa Fe and Iron Triangle. Also make sure that you do staffing that takes care of those who work here. Make sure they get fair compensation. making sure that we look after those who've treated us the best here in this community. And then lastly, let's take care of the infrastructure of this community, capital projects.
Thank you. Mr. Walsberg.
Well, as mayor, I will never go to Michigan and preach hate and murder and advertise killing people like the mayor did. We all know what he did. Lied about Israel having attacking, excuse me, what happened in Australia. You don't do that as mayor. You don't do these things. This man was preaching hate and violence. He hates everything. He hates Chevron. You don't do that when you're mayor. You go out and preach hate and murder and advertising killing people. This is not what our government's about. And the city council stood by their man and sitting there standing up for him. All of them should have condemned him for that, but they didn't. The city council is just as guilty as he is. What I'm trying to say is you don't do these things when you're in office. Not at all. You have to stand for the people. You don't go around preaching hate and murder.
That is time. Thank you, Mr. Walsberg. Mr. Johnson.
It was mentioned that the apology should have been done differently, but I think the entire situation shouldn't have never happened to begin with. As mayor, I will make sure before I post anything, anywhere, that it is read, researched, and before I even say anything to exclude people. Because as a mayor, when you make people feel unsafe in your city, when you make people feel as though that they can be attacked, especially given what happened in San Jose to those 2 Jewish individuals down there. I was at the San Francisco Seder yesterday, and the amount of people that came up to me and mentioned how unsafe they felt in the city of Richmond because of what our mayor did. The amount of people from around the world who know Richmond for all of the wrong reasons. That is not the role of the mayor. It is the exact opposite. And to have individuals who purport to be for communities of color stand behind an individual who put out such bigoted and hateful information without reading it. Your job is to read.
Time. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Martinez.
What I should have done is to be more circumspect. I should have realized that the people who are spreading hate is not me, but the ones who don't take the time to actually listen to what I said. They also, when I made that statement before my apology, I should have realized that everyone hasn't experienced what I experienced, and that I should have given more examples of why I said that, because in the way that I said it, some people took it as an excuse when it was in fact an explanation.
5 seconds.
So I will be more circumspect.
Time. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. We are now on to question 2. The rotation for this question will be Anderson, Walsberg, Johnson, Martinez, Jimenez. Question number 2. Richmond politics have long been shaped by alliances such as the Richmond Progressive Alliance. Do you see those political blocs as helpful or limiting for Richmond's future? Mr. Anderson.
As I said earlier, every voice matters. Our actions matter. We've had for 11 years a lot of talk but no action. We don't have jobs. We don't have opportunity for workforce development or economic development that brings revenue to the city and taking care of the bread and butter relationships here. One is potholes. One is safety. One is bringing housing here to the community. It's good to listen to alliances, to be a bridge, to be a conduit, but it's not unifying. It hasn't moved us forward. We need new leadership that can bring communities together. Who goes to the neighborhood council meetings? Who goes to the community and gets from behind their desk? Who doesn't have the full power to understand what diversity, equity, and justice in community means? You have to reach out to the community and meet them where they are. We need a leadership that will stand up and meet people where they are, such as Anderson, for mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Wasberg.
Well, I disagree with the RPA 100% because we all know what they stand for anyway. I even told you people that they're a Democratic Social Communist Party. They defunded the police. They was giving illegal immigrants fraudulent ID cards, interfering with telling the police not to enforce the law. They let these people live on Riders Road for free, violating just about every ordinance you could think of. They even was praising Hamas. You don't do these things. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you people. This is what not our government is about. You don't get into office to implement your own type of ideas. You have to stand with the Constitution. And they even recognize there is no Constitution. This is why tomorrow they're going to pass that ordinance, try to ban ICE from Richmond. This is the most dumbest thing I could ever seen in my entire life. There's
5
no way
seconds.
that you're going to stop ICE from doing anything. You have to obey all constitutional laws.
Time. Thank you, Mr. Wasberg. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, my political philosophy is that no one group or individual should try to dominate a whole bunch of people or force their ideas and philosophies on this diverse group of individuals we call Americans. So is it helpful? No, I don't think it's helpful. Is representation needed? I think everybody deserves representation, but to dominate and to run roughshod over the city and its residents and say that we know what's best for you. And to damn if you like it or not, or if you agree or not. And as a matter of fact, if you don't agree, we're going to demonize you. And not only that, but we're going to demonize those black and brown council members that came before us and laid the foundation for everything that we have today. So no, I don't think it's helpful. And I think it's extremely limiting to Richmond's future because they don't take into account other people's ideas, other people's thoughts if they don't agree, if they don't line up with them. And that's not America. That's not Richmond.
5 seconds.
So no, I don't think imposing your will and imposing your thoughts on an entire city is okay.
Time. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Martinez.
Yes, you should pay attention to all of us and decide for yourself who among us is demonizing others. Talking about parties, we have a Democratic Party who has ruled this county. They have made decisions, but to say that we impose, I think that's a bit strong. We have the Republican Party who has suffered, and there's also other parties who have a voice, and there's organizations who have a voice, and I think that organizing people around ideas is what makes America strong. And to demonize any of the groups for what they do, I think is wrong. I think we need to celebrate all of the groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Mrs. Jimenez.
Thank you. I think like we had been talking a lot about Richmond Progressive Alliance as if it was just like big thing outside. It came from Richmond residents that were tired of corruption. Before RPA, Richmond was on the list of the most violent cities in the country. Before people who ran to not take corporate money, Chevron was ruling this town. And what we have a corrupt government and even a corrupt police force. Now we have been able to elect a teacher like Gail McLaughlin that helped to save Point Molari and now is going to be a park. They had been helping to elect some of us. And what we had, the result that we have in this part where we went from 12% to 20% of reserves. When I got here, there was $20 million in deficit. Since I had got here, we had surplus.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. We will now move on to question number 3. The rotation for this question is Wasberg, Johnson, Martinez, Jimenez, Anderson. Question number 3. The city receives significant tax revenue from the Chevron Richmond refinery. If refinery operations decline over the next decade, what is your concrete plan to replace that revenue? Mr. Wasberg.
Well, first of all, if I'm mayor, I will try to stop anybody from closing down any refinery. Chevron pays up to 30% of the budget here. And you people are dumb enough to close down Chevron? They're paying for most of this stuff. You've got a bunch of people in the Green Party. Now you see the oil refineries are closing down, right? And now the counties over there crying about it because they're losing revenue. Sure, we can use the money from Chevron to create jobs. It doesn't matter if you have a small business, large business, or whatever. It's all about putting revenue into the city. Because like I say, I will fight tooth and nail to keep Chevron open. I used to work out there. I made $1,400 a week. You can't do that in a green job. You can't do that at a small job. Chevron employs almost 1,000 people, every profession you could think of.
5 seconds.
And like I say, got the RPA and the Democratic Party, they want to close down Chevron.
That is time, Mr. Wattsburg.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, we have to recruit new industries to come to the city of Richmond and reclaim our place as a manufacturing town. As I mentioned, my great-grandparents came to Richmond for a job. And so we have to bring back those industries that people will travel for to work. And we most definitely have to look to the future for some of the green jobs. The Green Empowerment Zone. The UC Berkeley study mentioned that there are about 5 to 6 different areas in the city of Richmond that are ready to go for green manufacturing. The thing that's keeping people from coming and open up green manufacturing in the city of Richmond is permitting and leadership. We got to change both. I want to use these last 25 seconds to say it was individuals like Irma Anderson, Jim McMillan, Mayor Livingston, who held this city up with spit and glue when everybody else had only but abandoned this city. So to sit on this dais and to call them corrupt and to say that everything that they did was for nothing, I will not stand for it because I am part of their legacy, and you will not disrespect them in front of me.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Martinez.
Yes, the Chevron refinery, this is about the tax revenue, yes. We need to diversify our economy, and we need to make sure that it's a strong economy. I have worked to make the port going concern instead of a handout place for good causes, but still not money generators. So I would like to move us towards a offshore wind industry and also to establish a shipbuilding again, reviving Rosie with building tugboats and building ferry boats. We also have introduced solar battery companies here who are expected to expand. So our economy is growing larger industrially.
Thank you so much. Ms. Jimenez.
Thank you so much. We have a plan. We make Chevron to pay $550 million. This is the first thing that we have concrete to make sure that we have 10 years of legal way to plan what we need to do. So we supported that. I was part of the negotiation to bring that money here. Yes, I am also part of the Green Empowerment Zone, where I am working closely with staff to really see what of these jobs are going to be good for the city. We need to diversify. We need to probably pay the unfunded accrual liability to see if that gives us some good way. In these 10 years, we need to know also just to have a financial plan to make sure that this $550 million make more money and extend over the 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. And last, Mr. Anderson.
$550 million is not an action plan to creating revenue. Revenue, as the chair of the Economic Development Commission, is turning on, which was turned off by this leadership, connecting with the Economic Development Agency of the East Bay, looking at other cities such as Richmond with the demographics, the socioeconomics, to bring companies back like Safeway for labor, bringing UPS more into fold to expand their business, looking at companies such as grocery stores that you want to be able to bring revenue to, looking at hospitals that you want to bring revenue to. And the biggest thing we have that's not working for us but looks good on a mural is the port. Diversify the industries, bring more electric cars to the area, energize using electricity to bring forth the port and maritime and building in labor. Bring forth economic development by building an East Bay Skills Center
5 seconds.
in Hilltop. That's how you put folks to work. That's how you move the revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
We will now move on to question number 4. The rotation for this question will be Johnson, Martinez, Jimenez, Anderson, Wasberg. Question number 4. Residents often say decisions are made before the public hears about them. What specific changes would you make to improve transparency in city decision-making?
Yes, one of the first things that I would do is meet with city clerk and talk about our city's policies and procedures when it comes to our meetings to make sure that Richmond business is handled first. Far too often we travel all the way around the world and never get to the problems that's plaguing our residents here at home, which is why our residents don't feel safe, which is why our residents aren't employed, which is why our residents aren't feeling any of the gains that people are claiming that we have because you aren't handling Richmond business first. So that's the first thing that we have to do is take care of at home. The second thing that we have to do to improve transparency in city decision making is leave City Hall. One of the things that I want to do as mayor is go into our communities and host meetings. Go into our communities and host not just town hall meetings, but let's have a city council meeting at Booker T. Anderson. Let's have a city council meeting at the Nevin Community Center. So that way individuals don't always have to travel all the way down to this juggernaut that is Civic Center.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Jimenez.
Thank you. I think we need more conversation in person and outside the hall with community members. As a community organizer, I have been doing that, and when I got into the city council, I had continued to do that. This is why I sponsored the item that is on the agenda to have a strong community engagement, so people can feel that they have input into how we are going to spend and invest the $550 million. This is how I had been leading, and this is how I continue to do it. People know me here for my work as a community organizer, where I had bring people from different parts to have conversation and to be strategic. Not only have conversation, but to be strategic and create a plan with steps and timelines that works for everybody and people feel included. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. Mr. Anderson.
Within the first 100 days, I require each district representative to provide a report back, meet in their particular district, talk about the issues at hand. Again, the bread and butter, the potholes, safety. Do you have the community policing you need? Are you getting the housing support you need? Meeting them at that level. Not only getting a State of Union, I don't think we've had a State of Union for the city of Richmond in the 4 years that the mayor's been involved. You've got to get out and go to the Richmond Neighborhood Council meetings. You've got to come here to the Neighborhood Council meeting where they meet. All I hear when they call your name is Bueller, 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 because you're absent. I don't see you out there in the streets. You're not involved. We need people who are involved that will speak up, step up, and share the mic with you, and more importantly, actively listen to you. Don't talk about the flashy $500 million. Put the money where your mouth is and do the work. Get the jobs here, protect your community, and bring housing.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And finally, Mr. Wasberg.
Well, we need a government that's going to work for the people. Well, we know that the RPA, who controls the city council, they're just out for themselves. We all see it every time. It's always the RPA agreeing with them, implement their own type of ideas. But you have to have more people coming to the city council. I mean, sometimes you look at the city council, you might have about 5, 6 people, but if you have a big event, like what happened with Aguado, then you're gonna have about 200, 300 people. But it's all with the government working with the people. You need to come and tell us what you need here, and as government, we will make the decisions. But we can't have the people come here and make the decisions for us. This is why you have a government, so we can make the decisions for you, so it'll be the right decisions under the ordinance, under constitutional law, right? You all know about the Constitution, right? You don't go passing law and ordinance to aid and abetting criminals from the law.
Thank you, Mr. Wasberg. We are now on question number 5. The order for this question will be Martinez, Anderson, Jimenez, Wasberg, and Johnson. Question number 5. If elected, what is the one policy you will implement in your first year to reduce homelessness in Richmond, not just manage it?
Excuse me, I think you left me out on the last question.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
Please let me answer.
for number 4? My apologies. Let's go ahead and run that
Apologies
back.
All right. So,
Do you
That's,
need me to reread it for you, sir?
well, I think you went on to question 5.
No,
instead.
but let's go ahead and go back to question 4 so that you can answer it. That is my apologies. I thought you had answered it. So would you like me to reread it for you so that you can answer?
I would like to see it as all the other candidates were able to
Can
see
we
it.
put question 4 back up, please? My apologies. We are working on that, sir.
Okay, thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Is it up now? Okay, it is up. And would you, again, since the question is up, would you like me to reread it for you?
No, you don't have to. I'm
Okay.
capable of reading it myself.
Thank you. Want to make sure.
Much appreciated. So, excuse me? I'm sorry. So, I get out into the neighborhood all the time. I go to every community. I've been to Parkchester, I've been to the Iron Triangle, to the South Side, to Point Richmond, to the Richmond Annex where I live, to North and East, to El Sobrante. So people see me in all of those communities. I have conversations with people, and they let me know what is important to them. I get a lot of emails from people. So I have a newsletter that I send out. So, but I know that you have to be out there because a lot of citizens aren't proactive because they're too busy. Some people aren't even aware of the city, State of the
5
City
seconds.
messages that I've done. So if you were proactive, you would know of them.
Thank you. And to the audience and to Zoom, I am ticking off the names so I can keep track, and evidently I ticked off too soon. So once again, Mr. Martinez, my apologies for skipping you. So we are now going to go to question number 5. And again, the rotation for this question will be Martinez, who I will not forget, Anderson, Jimenez, Wasberg, and Johnson. Question number 5 again. If elected, what is the one policy you will implement in your first year to reduce homelessness in Richmond, not just manage it? Mr. Martinez.
I would continue doing what we're doing in terms of the home key. We have people who are homeless for a multitude of reasons, and so there's not one answer for every one of them. And we need to do what I instituted when we were evacuating Ryden Road, which was to meet with each homeless person, do an interview with them, and find out why they're there, how they got there, and what they needed to move on. So it needs to be a proactive, person-to-person action in order to help people move forward. It would also be helpful if we could do a stipend so that they could help themselves.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martinez. Mr. Anderson.
First of all, housing is not a privilege, it's a right. You start with social services, but you have to have a relationship with partnership with your Senate and your Assembly to be able to work and recognize that it's not just about homelessness or unhoused, it's a public health issue. It's a public health issue when people don't have jobs. It's a public health issue when people are living in their cars. It's a public health issue when people are couch surfing and you don't have enough housing to be able to meet those needs at every economic level. Working with a plan to really put a policy that within the first year of tenure, there's a 5% decrease in housing. Working with a West Contra Costa County to put together a regional housing program. What happens is when one takes care of theirs, they move to the next who's not taking care of business. One who's just
5
managing
seconds.
but not being proactive, looking at streams that will provide the revenue and support.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mrs. Jimenez?
Yeah, thank you. In my first council year, we created, and now every year we are putting money on house interventions. That didn't happen before. And this is how every year we have been able to fund SOS. But I am realizing that it's not enough. We need to put more resources to continue to support our unhoused population. We need a daily center, so we need more resources for that. We need to continue to work to get home key money so we can do what we are doing with Motel 6, convert it into housing for unhoused with rapid around services, to bring another core team to support this rapid response.
5 seconds.
And also to work with the county to know how we fill the gaps that they have in terms of funding for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. Mr. Wahlberg?
Well, first of all, you got to figure out why they're homeless. And then we could work from there. Get them back on their feet, get them into job training programs, get them sober, get them educated. That's how you stop homelessness. Then you could have a massive job training program. Then you could have housing. You just don't build housing and just throw homeless people in there to solve the problem. You got to find out why they're having the problems. Believe me, I was homeless for 13 years. I lived on the street and in my truck. I know how these people operate. Some of these people you can't do nothing with. They just want to live for free. Believe me, I know. And building Motel 6 and all these other homeless camps are not going to solve the problem. It's even going to make it worse because John Joy tried it. And they had to call the county sheriff to kick him out in 6 months. They was give him everything for free. Free food, free laundry, the whole thing was free. See, that's what you need to find out. And a lot of social
5
workers,
seconds.
you need to find out what is the problem first, and then you could go ahead and take care of it.
Thank you, Mr. Rosberg. And finally, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, as mayor, the first thing I would do is not go at it alone. Homelessness, just like health, is under the county's purview, and they are mandated by the state and the federal government to play a larger role in homelessness in health in our city. And from working in the county, I've met several individuals who are itching for partnership with the city of Richmond, who would love to get in the city of Richmond instead of having Richmond residents pay twice for everything that the county is already doing, while also paying for it also in Richmond. It's a non-starter for me. Also, bringing in the county health services, so that way we can get at some of these compounded health issues so we can help individuals. Working with the county so we can get a safe parking space for individuals sleeping in their cars. Seeing if we can get a women's only shelter. Well, we have one through the rescue mission, but another women's and children's only shelter, so that way individuals can sleep safely. And housing for people returning home from incarceration. We have to be working with our county, our state, and our federal government. We can't continue to go at it alone.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Before we go on to question number 6, unfortunately, the league has received several complaints about talking in the back. If you must have a conversation with someone, please take it on the outside because you are disturbing your neighbor. And with that, we will move on to our 6th question. The rotation for this question will be Ms. Jimenez, Wasberg, Martinez, Johnson, and then Anderson. Question number 6. Richmond has a major undeveloped waterfront and industrial land. What type of development should the city pursue, and what type should it reject? Ms. Jimenez.
Yeah, thank you. So in the waterfront, we have the port, and we need to develop the waterfront port and the port to bring green jobs and blue jobs. I think also we need to make sure that we are following plans like the Blue and Green New Deal that we have, where we want to have more jobs and more initiatives there. The Craneway Pavilion, we are bringing it back, and it could be a potential economic engine. But I think like we need to be also conscious that climate change is here and it will impact with sea level rise. So we need to be
5 seconds.
we need to be conscious that no, we cannot put like a lot of development there that is going to be underwater. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. Mr. Wasberg.
Well, I said actually the only way you're going to improve the waterfront is to have exports, put people to work, build more factories. These green jobs ain't going to pay no money. All they want to do is push these small green jobs. They don't pay no money at all. The only way you're going to do it, you're going to have to start building. You're going to have to start creating jobs, getting people educated, getting people into job training programs. This is how you better a community. This is how you end up making money, because everybody has to have a trade. The more we could export, the more the economy is going to flourish. And then we're going to have imports too. But the bottom line is you need to get people with job skills and education. That's what it's all about. I mean, we could have the ports going on 24/7.
5 seconds.
But the majority is you just need to put people to work. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Wasberg. Mr. Martinez.
Yes, as I said before, I want to see our port revitalized so that it is an income generator. I also would like to see Point Melati become a world-class park along the lines of the Presidio. I would like to bring in different developers, organizations to come in and build soccer fields, community center, museums that highlight Richmond culture, and to make it a destination. Richmond needs to become a destination, which brings people in. And I also have a vision of having a water taxi that would take people from the dog park,
5
Point
seconds.
Isabel, to the marina, to the port, to Craneway, all along the coast.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am. So, as mentioned in the question, we do have a major underdeveloped waterfront and industrial land. And for me, I want to go back to this little plan that was created using a whole bunch of community engagement and a whole lot of money as well. It's called the South Shoreline Specific Plan. I'm most definitely for responsible development. But when we talk about the development of our waterfront, Richmond has a plan. It just has been ignored and put on the shelf for almost 10 years now. And so if we just do our jobs and take that off the shelf, dust it off, and bring it back, and, of course, we need to update the community engagement and a few other things in it, but there is a plan. We've always had a plan. We just haven't had the leadership to carry out the plan. We have individuals talking about bringing shipbuilding back to Richmond. We missed the boat on that. They wanted to bring shipbuilding back to Richmond, but instead of bringing hundreds of union jobs, we're looking for tugboats to bring in 20 to 60 jobs.
5 seconds.
Water taxis, that was in my reparations plan 5 years ago. Had individuals read, they would have known.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Anderson.
So I already shared with you my thoughts about the port, but let me share with you what it would look like for Craneway. Craneway should be just as it was supposed to be 20 years ago. It should be a replica of the San Francisco Ferry Building, where people can work, eat, and play. In addition to that, you should be able to move in a way that you bring that community to look very much like 4th Street, where you have a diversity of economy and businesses that will thrive and build this community with jobs. Point Melati, a park, it's just like Temescal. Costs you $5 to go in, just hang around. You should have something that is very much like the Presidio, and thank you for taking my information from the marina debate, but you should have something that speaks to an immersive program. An immersive program where it talks about the history, it talks about the shipbuilders, it talks about Rosie, how Richmond
5
became the
seconds.
city that it is today. That's how you bring money in, bring the colleges and schools to work there as well.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Anderson.
Mr. Mayor.
We will now go on to question number 7. The rotation for this question is as follows: Anderson, Jimenez, Johnson, Wasberg, Martinez. Question number 7. Richmond cannot solve housing, homelessness, or transportation alone. What role should the city play in regional planning with cities like Oakland, with the state of California, and with agencies such as Bay Area Rapid Transit, or BART?
One of the first steps is that your city council representatives need to attend the Metropolitan Transportation Commissions. You need to attend your mayor's conference. You need to be able to work with communities that have done the things that they're doing with the transit community. Richmond was the original transit community, not Fruitvale. We blew the opportunity to connect AC Transit to BART. I ran for BART. I know what that waterfront district looks like that Latifah Simon used to work with. Working with Barbara Lee, working with the Albany, working with El Cerrito to build a relationship and be involved. You can't do it. Richmond operates as an island unto itself, and therefore we have nothing but a lot of talk, a lot of shiny objects. It relates to money that's there, but no plan and no action. Get people that have been a strong administrator in workforce development. Get people who will build organizations.
5 seconds.
Get people who have been in workforce development through the East Bay, bringing large companies here to make it work.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Ms. Jimenez.
Yeah, thank you. In housing, I think like we have been working in the McDonald Avenue task force to bring housing and to have a plan that is holistic and look at not only transit, housing, but also business development. And I think like when we have a plan, we can be working with BAFA, with all AC Transit, with BART, and all of these agencies, but we need to have a plan. And I think like this is why I am so interested, and I'm putting a lot of time working with Mayor Martinez and Doria Robinson into creating this plan for the revitalization of McDonald Avenue, to build the housing that we need, and to be a pilot that we can have as a plan for people to invest here.
5 seconds.
And we can like have it to copy in other parts of the city as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. Mr. Johnson.
Regional planning is key, especially when it comes to housing, homelessness, and transportation. People in Richmond don't just work in Richmond, don't just drive in Richmond, and home in the unhoused community doesn't just come from Richmond. So we have to make sure that we're coordinating with, as I mentioned before in my previous response, with the county, with the state, with the federal government. I know some people might not like the federal government, but El Cerrito just got a whole bag of money for housing from working with John Garamendi. And so for me, it's about being willing to work with individuals, go and get the bag and go and get what's the resources needed for our residents. Stop trying to work in these echo chambers. We see individuals can't even work with other people in the city who they don't agree with, let alone individuals in Oakland. And it's becoming embarrassing, not just for Richmond residents, but for our region as a whole. We have to be able to attack these things as a group. And when we talk about unhoused community, when we talk about housing, when we talk about transportation, we have these regional boards and we have to use them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Wasberg.
I wouldn't even worry about Oakland or El Cerrito or anybody else. Richmond is my main concern. We get money from the federal government, from the state, then we can start building. We could have these little small towns where, you don't have to go far away, because I live right down the street. I'll just walk down the street. I go to BART, walk down the street, and go to the store. That's how it should be. But, some places you can't. You're going to have to build out in the country somewhere, or out there by Par. But The main issue is all about Richmond. You're worried about Oakland, you're worried about El Cerrito, Albany, or whatever. Let them do what they want to do. We want to worry about Richmond. We can build a better place. We got tons of land. We can build tons of housing. We're getting money from the federal government and state every day for housing. So why even worry about
5 seconds.
anybody else? We need to worry about the people here in Richmond.
Thank you, Mr. Wasberg. And last, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, cooperation with every government organizations is essential to moving forward. We have housing that we built in North Richmond. We had a ribbon cutting just last week, and that was housing that was built because of the cooperation with other organizations. I've worked with John Garamendi on the port and moving the Red Oak Victory Ship, which he would really like to do. I've worked with Barbara Lee on safety with the mayor of Fairfield. So there's a lot of different cooperations that we need to do, and we have been doing a lot in terms of housing and transportation. I've been working with WITTAC. I'm on the board there. So we've been working with Caltrans on improving
5 seconds.
traffic.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. And because time is permitting, we will have a question number 8. The question will come from the audience. And the audience member would like to know, before I read the question, the rotation for this question will go Mr. Wasberg, Anderson, Jimenez, Martinez, and then Johnson. And the last and final question before your closing remark. Richmond young adults cannot afford to buy houses. What actions can you take to address this problem? Mr. Wasberg.
Get a skill, get a job, get a good paying job. That's how you learn. What are you going to do? Go to work at Wendy's or McDonald's and buy a house? It ain't going to happen. Go to college, go in the military, learn a skill, learn a trade. Be a welder, electrician, a secretary, a doctor, whatever. You know, if you want to be a waitress and work at minimum wage or whatever, it all depends on what you want to do. But, you know, these kids, they're young, they're ambitious, they think they're going to rule the world. But the bottom line is you got to have at least 4 or 5 years of college to do anything nowadays, right? The factory jobs are gone. I used to work factory years ago. I was for 10 years. Right after a year after high school, I had my own place. I had a motorcycle, I had a truck. But nowadays they can't do that because the factory jobs are not there no more. That's why you need, as soon as you get out of high school, you have to go into the job training programs. That's how you learn. Then you develop, you know, your trades. Then you could get married and buy a house.
Thank you, Mr. Wasberg. Mr. Anderson.
I sure wish it was that easy, Mark. I really believe that one thing you need to do is take a look at the economic background throughout our cities, knowing that each individual is something that's not affordable in Laurel Park is not affordable in Point Richmond. Meet people where they are at their income level. Be sure to have jobs here in your city so people can work, eat, live, and play in this city. Transportation is a connection to make that happen, but also working to be able to ensure that you're able to support the resources by taking care of the needs of the community. Somebody once told me, for example, and this is rough numbers, say you make $25 an hour, $52,000 a year. Taxes bring you to $39,000. You're down for paying bread, cheese, gas, etc. You're now at $7,000. It may be affordable, but it's not reasonable. And that's what causes you to leave. Under this leadership, people have left the city.
5 seconds.
African Americans, 17.5%. When I first came to the city as a kid, it was 50%. That's because they have nowhere to live and work, eat, and play.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mrs. Jimenez.
Yeah, thank you. I think one of the things is that building a housing unit here costs in the Bay Area $1 million. So we need to create financing mechanism that makes building housing more affordable, and with that, to be able for people to afford that. But also we had been talking with Rice Center about the need for housing for youth and have some of the ideas of using some of the land that the city owns to put together a project that really meets the needs of young folks. We had been able in the housing element to pass regulation that allows community land trusts and that type of community ownership to be able to apply and to be able to apply and be in the competition to build housing here. So that is also.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. Mr. Martinez.
Yes, housing is very, very expensive here, and it's very difficult to build affordable housing. And affordable housing isn't affordable for people who live in Richmond, for people with the level of income that we have. So we need assistance. When we do build housing, I want to make sure that the developments have a varied income levels so that people aren't segregated by income, which is what usually happens when we build low-income housing in one area and the high-income housing is in another. So it needs to be integrated. We also have a rotating social benefit bond where we buy houses and electrify them and sell them to low-income families who qualify. And when it's sold, that money is used to buy another house, but we need to do more of that.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. And finally, Mr. Johnson.
Just for clarification, the question was, what would I do to help young people buy a house in the city of Richmond because it's so hard, correct? Thank you. Because as a young person in the city of Richmond who's trying to buy a home and it is very hard to do, I can say, they're not going to help me. Like, what we need is access to capital. What we need are for banks to stop denying young people loans. What we need is real, tangible help. All of these programs and going off on the tangent, talking about families and all, families do need housing, most definitely. Low-income people need housing, most definitely. But first-time home buyers, young people who are struggling, those of us, Mark, who did go to college and came right out and got right into the job market and are still struggling to find an affordable home, whether it's in Laurel Park, North and East, or Point Richmond. It is hard to get access to capital. It is hard as a young black man to get a loan from a bank. And if the city can't help with that, and that is something that the next mayor needs to be thinking about, needs to be meeting with Mechanics Bank and other finance institutions to make sure that young people can have access to capital.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And with that, we are now at our closing statement section. We will now hear 1-minute closing statements from each of the candidates. The orders will be Mr. Johnson, Mr. Walsberg, Mr. Anderson, Mrs. Jimenez, and then Mr. Martinez. Mr. Johnson.
Once again, my name is Dimlis Johnson III, and I'm running to be your mayor of Richmond, California. Most of y'all know my story by now. I'm a fourth-generation Richmond resident whose family came here from the South for opportunity. I grew up in the Iron Triangle by way of Kennedy Manor. Most of the people on this dais don't even know where Kennedy Manor is. Okay? I was a scout at Richmond High School. I fought for workers as a Teamster shop steward, and I served here on the city council as your vice mayor. Now, you've heard a lot of conjecture, a lot of things said here tonight. One of the things that stood out for me the most was folks saying that the stuff like, this is the first time that this has ever happened. This is the first time, and before we got here, it was so corrupt. Let me tell you something. That just proves two things to me. They just got here. They don't know us. And their opinion of us is pretty low. That's an extra one for you, okay? 5 seconds. So I'll wrap with this. Once again, Dimlis Johnson for mayor, Johnson for Richmond mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Walsberg.
Well, the first thing I'll do, I'll bring the $3 million back to the Richmond PD. And second of all, I'll make sure there'll be no corrupt cops. Because I know for a fact I was a victim of 2 corrupt cops. Ain't no joke. But, you know, people come up to talk about race, you know, black and brown. What about the white? What about the Asians? What about the other races? You're just going to sit there and talk about black and brown? that does not belong in politics at all. You can't just isolate between other people. The bottom line is we need a government that's going to work for the people. This is why I'm running, because we don't need the RPA in office. You don't get into office to implement your own type of ideas. This is what you don't do. You have to obey all constitutional laws that you took an oath to. Now the people over there laughing, yeah. No. You don't do these things. I said, just like what the
5
RPA is
seconds.
doing. They don't even realize what our constitutional law is about. I want to put people to work.
Thank you, Mr. Wasberg. Mr. Anderson.
Ahmad Anderson and running for mayor in 2026, but I've been doing the work at the Youth Service Bureau, doing the work for Working Families Child Care Council, your NAACP Vice President, your Economic Development Chair. What does that mean? It means I know my community. Been listening to it for 66 years of my life. What I know is since 2006, things changed when the RPA came in town. They said they were here to take from the rich to give to the poor, but we've lost people in this community. Get to the bread and butter things, taking care of our neighborhoods, cleaning streets, economic opportunity and jobs. We want stable housing, strong schools for their children. They talk about programs, they talk about the McDonald corridor, but we had the City of Promise. We had Janet Johnson in the economic development community. We talk about what we're going to do, but all we hear is money, money, money that's
5
not going to the
seconds.
people. Get out the way, time for new leadership. People get out to vote. This is the time, and the time is now.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mrs. Jimenez.
Thank you so much again for organizing this. Richmond, this election is about who you trust and lead the city through what comes next. We are facing real challenges, rising costs, public safety pressure, threats from the federal government, and a housing crisis that is pushing our people out of the city they call home. These challenges require someone who knows the budget line by line, who has sat across the table from Chevron and big banks and come away with a better deal for Richmond residents, and someone who has spent years building the experience and the coalition to get things done. I am that person. This experience is what I bring, and I am a community organizer with deep understanding of our city, our residents, and our city finances.
5 seconds.
I am a public servant who had not taken corporate money, and I will continue to do that. So vote for me, Claudia Jimenez, for Richmond Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Jimenez. And finally, we will close out with Mr. Martinez.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for having this. I am your current mayor. I was a council member for 8 years before this, and the city of Richmond has improved every year that I've been on the council. It's because we've worked as a team, we've had a vision. We need council members, we need a mayor who is a visionary, who sees Richmond as a whole, who sees Richmond as a destination place. We have improved in many, many ways. Public safety, we're investing in prevention, not just enforcement. We have youth programs, mental health responses, community-based violence interruption. We have ROC, we have ONS. We have many ways of protecting citizens in a positive way, not punitive. So vote for me, Eduardo Martinez. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you to all of our mayoral candidates for participating tonight. We will take a break and we will return for the city council candidate forum. Thank you.
Okay, I don't want to.
What stories?
Hello. Welcome to Richmond Works. Are you looking for a new job? A career change? Or occupational training? Visit your American Job Career Center at Richmond Works. We are located on 330 25th Street in Richmond, California. We offer a variety of free services for job seekers, whether you're an entry-level or a seasoned professional. At the Career Center we offer a resource room with computers, printers, and faxing services. You can access online job websites, resume software, and other helpful job search tools. At the Career Center you can work on your resume, apply for jobs, complete typing tests, and other employment-related activities. You may also make an appointment to get personal assistance with your career plans, learn about job openings, the labor market, and find training options. Find out if you qualify for additional programs for youth, such as summer employment, work experience opportunities, career exploration, and support services. Richmond Build Apprenticeship Program provides hands-on experience training, combined with educational requirements in the construction trades and green-collar industry. At Richmond Build you can earn industry-recognized certificates such as CTNC Curriculum, Multi-Craft Curriculum, MC3, Hazardous 40 Training, OSHA 30 Confined Spaces, First Aid and CPR. For more information call us now. We also have a variety of programs for veterans, persons with disabilities and dislocated workers. For employers, we provide occupational skills training, layoff aversion assistance, on-the-job training, and recruitment. Whatever your employment needs might be, make sure to tap into the free resources at your local American Job Career Center. Call us ahead to make an appointment. See you soon. We are an equal opportunity program. Call us now. One of our members will be happy to assist you. See you soon.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us for tonight's candidate forum for the City of Richmond elections to be held on June 2nd, 2026. My name is Tyra Wright, and I am an executive board member of the League of Women Voters, West Contra Costa County. We are pleased to co-host this forum with the City of Richmond, the Richmond Chamber of Commerce, and Black Women Organized for Political Action, also known as BWAPA. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan membership organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. The League does not endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. For more than a century, the League has provided fair and balanced candidate forums to help voters learn about the people running for office. While the League may take positions on public policy issues through its advocacy work, tonight's forum is presented by the League's Voter Education Forum, ARM, which is strictly nonpartisan. Tonight's moderator is Champagne Brown. Champagne is dedicated as an advocate for marginalized communities. She is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated since 2014. She has been leading efforts in the Bay Area to fight systemic inequities and build political power. She works as an employment and training worker for the city and county of San Francisco and holds many key leadership roles in labor and community organizing. She serves as SEIU 1021's chair of the Political Education Committee and as chapter president of their Human Services Agency in San Francisco. Tonight, she represents Black Women Organized for Political Action, where she is Region 1 Director of the Richmond Contra Costa County Chapter. Please join me in welcoming our moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tyra. Before we begin, I would like to review the format and the ground rules for tonight's forum. All candidates have agreed to participate under the League of Women Voters guideline for civil and respectful discussion. This is an educational forum. It's not a debate. A few logistics. Microphones should be muted for everyone except for the candidates and the moderator. So if you push the buttons, if it's red, that means it's on. If it's not on, then that means you are muted. The audience chat function on Zoom has been disabled. Questions have been solicited from community members, and we will also accept questions from our in-person audience members, and we'll include them as time permits. All questions will be shown on the screen. This forum is being recorded and will be posted online so that members of the community who cannot attend tonight may view it at a later time. Tonight's forum, earlier we covered the mayor for Richmond, and tonight we will cover Richmond City Council, District 3, and Richmond City Council, District 4. Our policy is to only include candidates with opposition. District 2 candidate is unopposed and therefore not included in this forum. Our protocol is to include all filed and qualified candidates, as well as those running as writing candidates who have evidence of a bona fide campaign. There are 5 candidates running for mayor and 6 candidates running for city council. Because of the number of candidates, we basically had 2 forums. We held the mayor forum earlier, and right now it's now the city council forum. So for the format, each candidate will have an opening statement where you will receive 2 minutes. There will be 8 questions, and you will be able to respond in 1 minute. Closing statement, you will also have 1 minute. Questions were submitted in advance by community members and local league members. They were screened to ensure fairness, neutrality, and to avoid duplication. The order of candidate responses will be randomly assigned and will alternate throughout the forum. A countdown timer will appear on the screen. Candidates will be notified when time is nearly up. I may also give a verbal reminder. If a candidate exceeds the time limit, I will allow them to finish their sentence, and then I will ask them to stop. There will be no rebuttal period. Candidates may address additional points during their closing statements. Candidates who violate the ground rules may be muted or prevented from answering further questions. And for the opening statement, the rotation will go as follows: Evans, Singh, Purcell, Bonner, Robinson, Gallen. And with that, Mr. Evans, please proceed with your opening statement.
Check, check. Good evening, Richmond. Thank you to the League of Women Voters, BWAPA, all the hosts and all the constituents here with us this evening. My name is Brandon Evans. I'm a 4th generation Richmond resident, and I'm raising the 5th generation. My family got to Richmond in the 1940s in search of a better life, and they found that life working at the Kaiser shipyards. I'm proud to say that my Aunt Alice, who was given a congressional record last year, was one of the original Rosies. She lived with us until she was 104. My grandmother served this community for over 70 years, living until she was 105. We recently renamed a park on South 18th Street, the Floria Evans Play Lot. So I've been in this community serving in a variety of capacities. First, as a citizen, volunteering on City of Richmond's commissions, Economic Development and the Planning Commission. I'm one of the co-founders of Taste of Richmond. We actually have one coming up in a couple of weeks, so if you haven't gotten a ticket, get a ticket. In addition to that, I've served this county, working as the district representative for Supervisor Federal Glover, as well as Supervisor Chanel Scales Preston, serving communities in this county between Hercules and Antioch. My day job, I'm a public servant. I work with individuals coming home from incarceration. That's while they're incarcerated and as they transition back into this community. It really is a full circle moment for me. I was a justice impacted young person, getting arrested at 19 years old. I used that opportunity to really change and transform my life. I spent a decade serving young people in this community. I'm actually one only candidate on this dais who's actually been a City of Richmond employee. So I know what it means to serve this community and provide the services. I was a part of a team that provided over 1,000 summer jobs a couple of years ago here with the City of Richmond. If elected, I want to address the quality of life things, the easy things, homelessness, illegal dumping, really making it about Richmond, focusing on Richmond, Richmond first, and I'm happy to be here with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Mr. Singh.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and the other organizers for hosting this forum tonight. And thank you to the residents of Richmond who came out as well. My name is Manmeet Singh, and I'm running as a write-in candidate for District 3 City Council. I'm not a politician, and I never pictured myself running for office. I'm just a neighbor. I live here, I work here, and I deal with the same day-to-day challenges that so many Richmond residents face. Rising housing costs, safety concerns, and a city hall that can feel distant from the people it's supposed to serve. I'm not here as part of a political machine. I'm here as someone who wants Richmond to work better for the people who already call it home. My priorities are simple: stronger public safety, real affordable housing efforts, climate awareness that actually leads to action, and a city government that listens to residents instead of talking past them. I'm not running to fight with anyone or to add noise. I care about this community, and I want to bring a steady, grounded, everyday resident perspective to City Hall. I will show up, I will listen, and I will follow through on what people say they need. My goal is to help bridge the gap between Richmond and its government. The city has so much potential, and with focused leadership, I believe that we can make improvements people actually feel in their daily lives. So thank you again, and I look forward to answering your questions tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Mr. Purcell.
Good evening, Richmond, and thank you to the League of Women Voters, thank you to BWAPA, thank you to all the community that is looking to get involved and be involved and stay involved in our democracy. My name is Jamin Purcell. I'm running for Richmond City Council in District 4 because I believe Richmond is at a crux right now, and we have extraordinary opportunity, and it deserves leadership focused on delivering results for all residents. Now, my background is rooted in community service and public policy. I currently am serving on the Hazardous Materials Commission. I'm a member of the Fish and Wildlife Committee, but I also have served on the Task Force for Reimagining Public Safety here in Richmond, as well as I'm currently on the Economic Development Commission. Through these roles, I've worked on issues affecting public health, environmental oversight, regional coordination, and with them also, I have learned what it's like to work and live here in Richmond from both sides, as a resident and somebody who actually engages with the government. Professionally, I'm a small business owner. With that experience of running a business here in Richmond, I know I can help address some of the issues we have with regard to our budgeting, our governance, and how to bring people together to solve our complex problems that we face. Richmond's at an important moment. We have opportunity to strengthen our economy, improve city services, and invest in the future. My campaign is centered on 3 priorities: strengthening Richmond's economy, helping small businesses, improving effectiveness of city services and public safety, and ensuring residents have a meaningful voice in decisions that affect their communities. I believe Richmond's best days are ahead of us, and with thoughtful leadership and community engagement, we can build a city that is economically strong, environmentally responsible, and welcoming for everyone who calls Richmond home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Mrs. Bana.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Sohaila Bana. I am your District 4 Council member and have been working hard on the most pressing challenge in our district, wildfire safety. My record is unmatched. I brought defensible space around our communities. evacuation drills, Firewise communities, evacuation routes clearings, Measure X resources to Richmond, and more. I was instrumental in establishing the first regional collaboration for wildfire safety, the East Bay Wildfire Coalition of local governments in Contra Costa and Alameda. And I'm working with our state senators to secure additional resources. I have public safety on the top of my agenda, and it also includes traffic safety, gun violence reduction, ending gender-based violence, and protecting our immigrants. I've made public safety a strategic goal for Richmond, too, and for many other candidates, as you can tell. I'm passionate about fighting for working families and public services. As an immigrant, I worked odd jobs to put myself through school. I'm a retired engineer with a PhD and patents. I've been a civil servant and a union leader where I represented over 1,000 professional engineers in California government. As a graduate student at UC Berkeley, I helped create the first student parent leave policy in the US, which has spread to every UC graduate school. I'm a lifelong human rights defender and helped to save the lives of 14 people from being executed in my native country of Iran. I'm committed to making Richmond a safer place for residents and businesses with beautiful parks, dog parks, and sports fields, with more affordable housing and equity for our diverse communities. I'm honored to be endorsed by our city employees, IFPT Local 21,
That is time, Ms.
and
Bonner.
District Attorney Diana Beckton.
Thank you. Ms. Robinson.
Good evening, Richmond. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Doria Robinson, and I'm running for re-election as District 3 City Council. I am a mom of twins. I'm a proud third-generation Richmond resident. District 3 is where I was raised, where I raised my family, and where I continue to live. My record speaks for itself. Over the last 3 years, I have shown up. I have gone to every city neighborhood council meeting I could. I have supported my commissions and committees that I've been assigned to. I've met regularly with residents with concerns to advance issues and bring forward solutions. In my first term as city council, I helped to advance an effort to end decades of flooding at Parchester Village, to bring the Nystrom Village project back online after being stuck for over 10 years. I helped to put the MLK Center back on the CIP list, back on the capital project list, so that we can have our beloved community hub back. I established a fund, $1.5 million, to address inequities that negatively impact the Black community. I created the McDonald Avenue Task Force to create short and long-term solutions to bring back Richmond's downtown. I championed and voted for all initiatives brought forward by RPD to fill vacancies and reduce mandatory overtime. I centered the voices and experience of our staff in creating solutions that our city needs to better serve our residents. Through responsible fiscal management, we have improved the city's bond rating, moved Richmond from the state audit list, delivered 3 consecutive years of budget surpluses. Let's keep Richmond moving forward. I respectfully ask for your vote on June 2nd.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Now, Ms. Gallen.
Hello, Richmond. Thank you, BWAPA and the League of Women Voters for having me here tonight. My name is Keisha Gallen. I was born and raised in Richmond. I'm deeply connected in the community. I am founder of Keys to the Future, a nonprofit that supports youth and family impacted by trauma and gun violence. I am a nonprofit leader. I am a gun violence survivor. I am a mother of 2, a grandmother of 2. I am a gun violence advocate. And most of all, I advocate for public safety, especially for those that's impacted by trauma. I am a former volunteer lead for Moms Demand Action. Moms Demand Action As the leader, I advocated for safer communities and responsible gun laws for community, state, and federal level. Came to Richmond City Council. That's why I'm here now, because my voice felt on deaf ears. We didn't get the support that we needed, even though we have members here at City Council saying that they're all pro public safety. We live in a community where we have fear and we're unprotected. I work directly with the family so that we can provide healing. I work with the youth to provide mentorship. Richmond is one. Every voice should be heard. Safety is our human right, and safety should include everyone. Leadership should come from people who understand the community because they live in it, we work in it, and we fight for it. It's our right.
Thank you, Ms. Gallen. We will now move on to question number 1. The rotation for this question will be Gallen, Robinson, Evans, Banna, Singh, and Purcell. Question number 1. Richmond has faced budget volatility tied to economic cycles and major taxpayers. What specific steps would you take to stabilize city revenues and protect essential services during downturns? Ms. Gallen?
Richmond is a city of pride and purpose. Economic development comes from creating more jobs. That's where your PLAs come into place. Support small businesses. Grow the moms and pop businesses. Create workforce development that is for the citizens of Richmond to actually grow their, not only their revenue, but to grow their income so that they can afford to live in the city. Create more jobs within the city that support everyone and not just certain individuals where people are not coming from the outside. We can actually hire from the inside. Put more training programs into place. Invest more into the different infrastructures so that we can revitalize Richmond.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gallen. Ms. Robinson?
For me, this question really is anchored in 2 key strategies. One, we have to diversify the revenue streams of the city of Richmond so that we are not dependent upon any sector. It doesn't matter which one it is, but we cannot be overly dependent on any sector for our revenue streams. We need to diversify, we need to strengthen, we need to support small business, we need to attract more larger businesses so that we have more to fall back on when times get hard. I think the other big thing we need to do, especially because we're in the position that we are in right now, is that the money that we received from Chevron, that I helped to get from Chevron, we cannot be that lottery winner who wins a whole bunch of money and blows it all on big ticket items and shiny cars, and then in 5 years, 10 years, we have nothing. We have to invest it, we have to be smart, we have to be strategic, and we have to use it so that when we come to lean times, we have that to fall back on.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Evans?
Thank you for the question. So I would say that this is probably Richmond's most stable kind of fiscal place that we've been in a while, right? We've had good work done on council that has saved some income, but we need to talk about the 3 ways the city makes money: through utility users tax, property tax, and sales tax. In addition to that, we do need to diversify our other income streams. Of course, Richmond's history has chronically been linked to Chevron as our largest taxpayer, largest employer. We need to come in and create really the economy of the future. We leverage that by reimagining and re-envisioning these former industrial sites. But then we also need to address our unfunded liabilities, right? That's to the tune of a couple $100 million. And this is an issue that local municipalities across the state are facing. So we need to use the investment, the $550 million from Chevron to shore up what's working, make improvements, and then really plan for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Ms. Banna?
In order to survive through economic shocks, we need a shock absorber, and that's reserves. The city needs to have reserves. It basically has a healthy reserve of 21%. Right now, maybe we can add a bit more to it. Another thing we can do when we have more revenue is reduce the costs of the future. That is, invest more on capital improvement projects and pay for unfunded liabilities. So when the economy is not good, your load of cost is less. And finally, we need to plan for increasing revenue all the time. My idea is to hire an economic development manager to bring more businesses, more jobs, more revenue to the city, and even hire an event manager to bring more events to the city to have more revenue. Similarly, having more housing adds to our tax base. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bana. Mr. Singh.
Thank you for the question. So I believe that placing money in a community investment fund would definitely help during downturns, as the city would be able to reach into that. And also investing in local businesses that will create more jobs in the city locally as well.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Mr. Purcell.
Prudence and policy, and getting out of the way. We have not been a business-friendly city for a very long time, and the only way that we're going to be able to bring people in is by making sure that we're going to be attractive as a place for businesses. We need to widen our economic base so we are not dependent upon Chevron, but the only way we're going to be able to do that is by investing in our key economic areas like our downtown and our hilltop area. As well, supporting local businesses and small businesses, looking at what the other cities around us have done to be able to try and help revitalize our commercial areas that have languished and not been attended to, and invest in infrastructure so that people know it is safe, it is walkable, and it's enjoyable to spend your money and your time in Richmond. And of course, we need to help with that permitting issue that we have as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. We are now going on to question number 2. The rotation for this round will be Singh, Bana, Purcell, Gallen, Evans, Robinson. Question number 2, the future of the Chevron refinery. What is your position on the long-term future of the Chevron Richmond refinery, and how should Richmond balance environmental, health, jobs, and city tax revenue? Mr. Singh.
Thanks for the question. So I do believe that the Richmond refinery does help a lot in terms of the tax revenue that it gives, especially with the recent settlement with the $550 million. A good thing that I would think to actually balance is, the environmental health with the jobs that it does create, because it does affect the lives of people, especially in the Iron Triangle and North Richmond, from the pollution that it can create. So just making sure that there's legislation that that actually maintains the pollution level while also creating jobs would be a plus.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Mrs. Bana.
Chevron seems to eventually leave the city. Sooner or later it will. So we need to plan for when the refinery is gone. It's going to be good for environmental health. It's going to be bad for jobs and tax revenue. What are we supposed to do? Bring more jobs, obviously. That's the most important thing. That's why I think we should have an economic development manager. With AI coming into the scene, we're going to lose more jobs. Richmond has been historically a place for labor, and we can train the labor. For example, home hardening is a major thing. People cannot afford a licensed contractor, but the city of Richmond, I've been talking to union leaders to have a certificate, especially for home hardening, that they can respond to the needs all over the East Bay and maybe Bay Area. We need to look ahead. We need to plan proactively, look at the climate change, what jobs will be in the market, especially labor jobs, and prepare for that.
Thank you, Mrs. Bana. Mr. Purcell.
Thank you. Currently, the Chevron Richmond refinery provides a lot of union jobs. It as well gives a lot of money through the way that it supports the downtown of the Point, as well as through some of the community benefits that it provides. We need to be prepared for when the eventuality of it leaving. But the only way we're going to do that is by widening our economic base, by creating the industries that still support those union jobs. That means that we need to look at how we are going to invest and attract those companies that union jobs are not only welcome, but it's really celebrated. We also need to make sure that we're investing money into our impacted communities while we have that money available. There are a number of people who I know have been living with the conditions being adjacent to the refinery, and we need to make sure that they're supported through the transition going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Ms. Gallen.
Thank you. For Chevron to be here, there should be some accountability on the city part and Chevron's part. A lot of the time, it's cheaper just to do a payout versus buying new equipment. We really have to start evaluating what's more important for the community when we say health. Should Chevron just continue to make payments whenever there's a spill, or should we require them to actually buy new equipment which can limit some of the spills? We should have more resources when it comes to healthy options for the community to strengthen their health. We're taxing Chevron as it is as far as the tax revenue. Chevron is our key benefactor for tax revenue. So I just say, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gallen. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Evans.
Thank you for the question. So I think when we talk about Chevron, I think we need to look at it in a regional context, right? Contra Costa County really has been the industrial corridor of Northern California for some 100 years. If we look at the reality today, we have 2 refineries left, with Chevron and Richmond being the largest, Martinez Refining Company being close second. When we talk about the economic output that these industries provide, the study recently done, $1 billion to the West County community outside of what Chevron pays in taxes here to the city of Richmond. And when we talk about long-term sustainability, of course, we want Chevron to be not a good neighbor, a great neighbor. There are a ton of sources in terms of data points about if Chevron is impacting our communities disproportionately, especially Black and brown communities. I think we need to really spend the time and invest maybe some of the settlement money in a full, robust monitoring system that will actually give us some additional results. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Ms. Robinson?
So thank you for the question. There's 3 things that we need to focus on. We need to focus on planning, we need to focus on preparing, and we need to focus on holding the fossil fuel industry and Chevron accountable. I'm going to start with accountability. When a fossil fuel industry operates in our community, they have an agreement with BACMed on the amount of pollution that they're allowed to do in our community. When they go above that, they need to be held accountable. Secondly, we need to plan. We see Benicia. They have very little notice on shutting down that refinery. We do not need to be Benicia. We do not need to be Detroit in the downturn of the auto industry. The things that we're seeing now in the fossil fuel industry are global market changes that we do not have control over. So we need to plan. We need to invest in the GEZ process. We need to bring other industries here. We need to use the assets that the city has to bring more diversified revenue streams. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. We will now go on to question number 3. The rotation for this question will be as follows: Robinson, Evans, Singh, Purcell, Gallen, Bonner. Question number 3. Richmond has seen rising housing costs alongside pressure for new development. How would you increase housing supply while protecting long-term residents from displacement? Ms. Robinson?
That's another great question. So first off, I feel like some of the things that we've already done, like creating the rent board, creating rules around rent control, those are protecting our current residents. I think we can do more. I think we can offer new opportunities for young people to buy houses. There's some ideas around that. We can use land trusts. We can keep transforming the housing industry, the housing that we have, and making sure that people are using it. I think we also, as a city, need to support the development of low-income and affordable housing. We need to make sure that we're using city property in order to reach those goals. Sometimes that also means putting forward some city money to assist in all of the different costs that stand in the way of building housing. We also need to tighten up our departments so that we can move faster. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Evans?
Thank you for the question. So I think this is a regional issue again. We talk about regional rent prices, especially here in the San Francisco Bay Area. What we need to do, and what a lot of cities moved away from, really local municipalities post redevelopment, is that we got out of the business of housing development, right? During my work at the county, there were discussions happening behind the scenes about ways that local municipalities, counties, and local city councils can actually contribute to adding to the housing stock. Of course, we need to build at all income levels. We need affordable at very different tiers. We also need market rate. I think one way that we can springboard and really get some housing construction moving is working around building around our multimodal station in downtown Richmond, of course, where we have one of three, I believe, in the region with BART, access to the ferry, bus, and Amtrak. So we need to really use our surplus lands as well and really leverage that for housing stock. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Mr. Singh?
Thank you for the question. When it comes to housing affordability, my focus is on stability for the people. That means, of course, protecting the renters from displacement, speeding up repairs and habitability enforcement, and making sure that new development includes homes that working families can actually afford. I would partner more closely with nonprofits and small local builders so that we're not only focusing on the large developers. And of course, the goal is simple: keep Richmond livable for the people who make the city their home.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Mr. Purcell?
Permits have become an issue within the city of Richmond because they have made it so that it is very hard to build, and it can take 5 to 7 years. And over that time, the materials go up in cost. We should be looking at what Oakland and San Francisco have been doing to be able to try and streamline their permitting, to be able to make sure that we are getting projects moving. Housing projects haven't really been happening here in Richmond. We also need to be making sure that we're looking at, why are some of these houses sitting vacant? What is the issue that is holding them from being able to rent them out? And when we're looking at housing that we want to develop, we need to have living wage housing as well as low-income housing. That means things for families, but people as well, things for people who are pre-family, shall we say. We also, to make sure that we are protecting our long-term residents, make sure that we are having coordination with our transportation corridors, so that way people can get to the jobs to be able to continue to pay for their homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Ms. Gallen?
So I would say recognizing the history of redlining and disinvestment, ensuring equitable resources distribution, creating subsidized housing. The city, I know years ago, had an incentive program where you help the homeowners buy a house, and whenever they refinanced or decided to sell, they would actually pay the city back whatever they owed. Generating more property, connecting with other housing development, building properties and meeting people where they are as far as their income. And another thing, just connecting to the nonprofits, the cities and the county, coming together to unify and making sure that we have what we need for our residents so that no one is displaced and we can give our citizens affordable housing.
Thank you so much. Ms. Bana?
In addition to tenant protections, I'm for home ownership because it protects residents from displacement. I introduced the ban land grab ordinance to keep our housing supply from being owned by major corporations and make it easy for first-time buyers to purchase those. We need to provide workforce housing for teachers, nurses, police, and firefighters. One thing that universities do, they put the down payment and become partly owner of the property and help the staff buy it. We can do it for our residents. So the city, instead of investing and getting low interest loan, give that low interest, give it to the residents and help them become homeowners. We can raise a bond to support public housing trusts and promote homeownership. And we need to do a little more to do land development, rehabilitation of Superfund sites. And finally, we need to do rezoning to promote.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to question number 4. For question number 4, the rotation will be as follows: Bana, Mr. Purcell, Ms. Gallen, Mr. Singh, Ms. Robinson, and then Mr. Evans. Question number 4. What specific policies would you implement to address homelessness in Richmond, and how should the city coordinate with Contra Costa County and regional agencies? Mrs. Bana?
Thank you. Homelessness needs to be addressed regionally. The county provides health and support services, but also, especially in District 4, we have the county having properties around the city, so they need to be able to collaborate on that too, where to build places for the homeless. So I visited San Antonio as a model for the homeless, where there is a navigation center, a shelter, transitional housing, permanent housing, and all the supporting services by nonprofits around it. I'm urging my fellow city council members and city administration officials to take a trip. We can implement a small model of that in the city of Richmond and provide a humane solution to the homeless and also make it a better environment for small businesses to flourish.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Bana. Mr. Purcell?
I'm going to agree that it is a regional issue. The reason why we have the unhoused issue here so much in Richmond is because we provide services, and that is because we're a humane city that understands that we need to actually support people when they have fallen and when they are on hard times. But we cannot do it alone. We have to work within the region. We have to work with the other cities to make sure that we are going to be able to get the support to be able to continue to provide those services as best as possible. I believe one of the easiest things that we can do is around policy is about a safe parking and safe storage program. One of the issues about people have been running into when they are trying to get into transitional home is because they're afraid they're going to lose all of their possessions that they have. We need to be able to work with them. But this requires more than just housing. It needs mental health. It needs medical. It needs a wider approach, and we can't do it alone.
Thank you. Ms. Gallen?
We cannot solve homelessness without building more housing and removing barriers to development. First, we have to find the root cause of the homelessness. We can give housing, but if we don't teach them how to sustain it, we're going to face the same issue every time. We have to increase our affordable housing stock, streamline our permit process, support supportive housing services, partner with county and regional agencies so that we're ending homelessness together, making sure that we're compassionate and have practical solutions that actually work. And I would say going into the homeless population just to see what led them there so that they don't end back there. That's where I would start.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gallen. Mr. Singh.
Thank you for the question. So I would support a coordinated approach that is outreach, mental health support, and pathways into stable housing. Of course, the city needs to work with county partners so that people aren't falling through the cracks. The goal would be to not to push people from block to block, but to help them stabilize and rebuild. Some ways we could do this is to protect and also implement stronger, fair rent ordinances, and also to create mixed income housing projects that include a higher percentage of units for those who make specifically 30 to 50% of the AMI. This would also ensure that our service workers also get a stable place to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Robinson.
So as the current liaison to the Homeless Task Force, I've learned a lot from working with that group. First and foremost, the best thing we can do is prevent people from falling into homelessness, to invest in rental assistance programs and other things that can keep people housed. That's the easiest and best thing that we can do. Outside of that, we need more mental health services. We need more substance abuse services and places where people can try to get clean. We need transitional housing that can accommodate those who are struggling with substance abuse. So often the shelters that we have do not allow people who can't kick the habit to have a place to live. We need more transitional housing, the wraparound services like the Home Key project that we have going in Richmond. We need more day centers and navigation centers so that our unhoused residents are not criminalized because they have no place to go when they leave the shelter in the morning. SOS has a great example of this in their wellness center. We need the core team housed in Richmond, and we need more, deeper support from the Contra Costa County.
Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson. And Mr. Evans.
Thank you. So as many as, like my colleagues have mentioned here, county is one of the services provided by Contra Costa. Homelessness is one of the services provided by Contra Costa Health, Contra Costa County. They really are here to provide the social safety net. When we talk about policy at the local level, I would start by amending our camping ordinance, right? It would bring it in line with the Supreme Court decision that gives our public safety professionals the tools that they need to move an unhoused individual in the public right away. Those are the type of common sense approaches that we need to take place today in downtown Richmond. I don't know if you guys have been to downtown Richmond lately. It's completely become an encampment. And our public safety professionals, their hands are tied because of our local camping ordinance. I think we also need to invest in existing capacity. BARM is doing great work. GRIP is doing great work. These are agencies that have been historical legacy organizations here in the city of Richmond. We can help and build capacity immediately here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Evans. Now we will move on to question number 5, and question number 5 is district specific. So for question number 5, it will go Mr. Evans, Ms. Robinson, Mr. Singh. Then we'll go over to District 4, to Ms. Gallen, to Mr. Purcell, and then to Mrs. Bonham. So for District 3, how will you address air quality and environmental justice in impacted neighborhoods?
Who's first?
That would be you, Mr.
Okay,
Evans.
that's what I thought, to be certain. So how do we address air quality here in the city of Richmond? Of course, Richmond's history has been tied to our industrial history here with the presence of Chevron. There's been talk about, over the years, about sources of particulate matter, right? What industries are contributing to air quality here? And it is not only our refinery. It's our railway, it's our proximity to the freeways, and the monitoring that's taken place through different organizations are usually focused on particulate matter only coming from the refinery. I say let's expand that, let's broaden the scope. I think when we also talk about environmental justice, the issue becomes whitewashed, right? Most communities that are environmentally impacted are communities of Black and brown individuals. So how do we recenter lifting up those voices versus a kind of adversarial relationship with our local industry partners here? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Ms. Robinson.
So, because there are many sources to environmental pollution, air pollution in our communities, I think one of the biggest threats outside of our biggest point source emitter, which is the Chevron refinery, is transportation. There's so much that we need to do to improve our transportation system, especially right now with the complete collapse of public transportation. That is actually a huge threat to the quality of our air quality. The more people who are in individual cars driving on their own, the more air pollution there will be from the roads, from other things. We could also do a better job of really policing the railroads and the port. We can do a transition at the port so people are not idling big ships there and having diesel in the air. I think there's a lot that we can do also with indoor air quality, helping people, seal their homes, have air filters, do other things that help to improve that indoor air quality, transition away from gas stoves. There are a number of different things we can do. Transportation, indoor air quality are big ones.
Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Singh.
Thank you for the question. So of course, when it comes to air quality, the topic of air quality, we would think a lot about Chevron. I would agree that when Chevron comes here, then yes, we can definitely still protect jobs while also protecting the air and our water. Environmental health, of course, is public health to everyone. And I would support stronger monitoring, faster reporting of violations that occur, and of course, investments in more cleaner energy and green spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. We will now move on to District 4. Again, the rotation will go Ms. Gallen, Mr. Purcell, Mrs. Bonner. And your question: how would you approach providing adequate fire protection in your district? Ms. Gallen.
By having inspectors coming out before high fire season start, making sure that we have a way to keep our weeds hydrated, working with the local fire departments, working with the local inspectors to make sure that if a fire did break out, it wouldn't become a wildfire because we had the resources to stop it, and also make sure that we have things in place where the citizens can actually learn about how to prevent fires in case of a fire, having that protection in place where there's an evacuation plan so that our citizens know where to evacuate to, and making sure that it's not just for certain areas, that it's for all of District 4.
Thank you so much. Mr. Purcell.
Well, first, I would say that we need to make sure that we're investing in our fire department to make sure that our fire stations are adequately cared for and that they have good equipment. As well, making sure that we're coordinating with the region. A lot of the areas where we are going to have wildfires are in county, and they are adjacent to the city of Richmond. But as well, we can be looking at the preventative solutions now, like natural fire breaks, transitioning from a lot of the western grasses to our native grasses, which are able to make it through these drier periods. We need to make sure that our public service announcements are reaching everybody, looking at how we are going to make sure that they're informed of why they shouldn't be firing off their fireworks, and as well making sure that they're addressing what they can do. But when we also push for hardening, we need to make sure that there's grants, financing, or something so they'll make that hardening happen rather than take good advice but not be able to act on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Mrs. Bonner.
As a founder and chair of the West Contra Costa Fire Safe Council, I've been working on it for the past 4 years. So basically, it's preparation and planning of all the stakeholders and residents. Stakeholders like the city, county, East Bay Mud, East Bay Regional Parks, and PG&E, we hold them accountable, and residents, we educate them. Specifically, what needs to be done, number one is fuel reduction, and then make sure that other things are in place. For example, East Bay Mud fire hydrants have sufficient flow and water pressure. I had the city and county install fire danger signs to educate the public on red flag days, initiated the fire-wise communities in El Sobrante Valley, brought Measure X vegetation services to the city, and provided guidance to public works regarding their role in wildfire safety preparedness. As a result, now they have 4 arborists and 3 remote mowers. And I urge the city and county to
time,
clear
Ms. Bonner.
evacuation routes and fire access lanes.
Thank you, Ms. Bonner. We will now go on to question number 6. And again, question number 6 is also district specific. This time we will start off with District 4. The order would be Ms. Gallen, Mr. Purcell, Mrs. Bonner, and then we will move on to District 3, Mr. Evans, Mr. Singh, and then Ms. Robinson. So the question for District 4, how would, I already did that one. How would you increase voter participation and civic engagement in underrepresented neighborhoods?
By having community meetings, going out, talking to the community, meeting them where they're at, giving them a voice, giving them a seat at the table, and assuring them that their voice will be heard. Making sure that whatever issues that they have, that they will be addressed, because that is their human right. And our current diocese has taken that right away. As a Richmond citizen, as someone that lives in the underserved areas, you have a voice. Your voice deserves to be heard. And regardless of what you think, change is coming.
Thank you, Ms. Gallen. Mr. Purcell.
This is actually a subject I really love. As a Democrat and as a person who loves civic engagement, I would just say the very first thing is we need to make sure that we're bringing up our voter registration within all districts. Currently, District 4 and 2 make up almost 50% of the voters who decide the city of Richmond's elections. So we need to push for voter registration, and you know what? You can start registering as soon as you turn 16. That said, that said, we also need to make sure that we are reaching out to them in every way, reaching out to our communities in every way possible. We should be having state of the districts addresses, letting people know what has been going on in your neighborhood. Hold open town halls that invite everybody, even people you disagree with. As well, we need to make sure that we are engaging our neighborhood councils and making sure that we are bringing young people in so that they are proud of the community and want to invest their time in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Purcell. Mrs. Bonner.
As the chair of Iranian American Democrats of California, Northern Region, I've been very active in voter registration for the Farsi-speaking community, people from Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, holding tables at events, reach out to the community, and go to events, mosques, temples. In addition, I organize events to provide such opportunities. For example, on May 2nd, I'm sponsoring an Asian and Pacific Islander community celebration, and we are going to let them know about the services available to them, about their civic rights, and urge them into civic engagement and participation. I've been in touch with different Middle Eastern and Asian communities, and also I'm in touch with community high schools. For example, Dianza, I reach out to them, I talk to students and urge them to civic engagement, participation, and some of them have joined the Youth Commission.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Bonner. Just as a point of information, if there's anyone in here who is not registered to vote, make sure you go out to the lobby because we do have voter registrations available. Thank you. Now we're going back to District 3. And again, that will be Brandon, Mr. Evans, Mr. Singh, and Ms. Robinson. So your question, what is your position on zoning changes for higher density housing near transit?
Thank you for the question. So I say, and I'm in support of upzoning in our commercial corridors and adjacent to transit. So you see neighboring communities like El Cerrito and Oakland all leveraging their BART stations to increase housing stock. Another thing we need to build around our multimodal station and increase density in our downtown. We have a number of surplus properties that litter McDonald Avenue that can be leveraged into a number of different housing options. I think the biggest project that we have, and when we talk about transit-oriented development, is going to be Metro Walk Phase 2. And Metro Walk Phase 2, Metro Walk Phase 1, of course, happened about 2 decades ago. Metro Walk Phase 2 has had multiple iterations. Its current iteration, it's currently has a funding gap, right? And they've applied for state tax credits and have been denied. So that project is in limbo. So how do we incentivize, or how do we support and incentivize local developers to come here to build all forms of and modes of housing? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Mr. Singh.
Thank you for the question. I will be honest on this one. When it comes to zoning, I am not as well phased with it. So at this time, I will not be able to answer that well, but continuing forward, I will definitely look on that and definitely, as I said, answer to the best of my ability what can be done when it comes to zoning in high density areas.
Thank you, Mr. Singh, for your honesty and your transparency. And with that, Ms. Robinson.
So I'm a big supporter of upzoning in our transit areas. I think that the downtown Richmond is a perfect example. Not only do we need more housing in general, and we need more housing near transit so that people don't have to use a car, they can have that choice, but we also need it if we want to actually build up the economic activity downtown. You need people who can actually be those people who are going to the businesses that we're proposing. So it's essential to economic development, as well as essential to just needing more housing, and essential to kind of addressing the air quality and other problems that we have. Very in favor.
Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson. And we have now come to the end, where our candidates will go ahead and provide us with their closing statement. Again, you all have 1 minute to do your closing statement. The order will be Mrs. Bana, Mr. Purcell, Ms. Gallen, Ms. Robinson, Mr. Evans, and then we'll end with Mr. Singh. Ms. Bana, please provide your closing statement, and thank you.
Thank you. Richmond needs a proven leader who is committed to our community and who can continue to deliver. In addition to public safety, I've brought other city services, from Richmond Moves to event sponsorships to District 4, initiated Eastern cultural celebrations, and the first project to preserve the history of Richmond. You'll see it soon. Going forward, I plan on building a regional coalition to address homelessness and to support our small businesses, as these two issues are closely interconnected. Working on homeownership programs for first-time buyers to build generational wealth. Hiring an economic development manager and an event manager to bring more businesses, jobs, revenue, and events to our city. Pushing to develop Hilltop Mall. Continuing the work to make the city safer, cleaner, and enhance the quality of life for all residents and businesses.
Thank you so much. Mr. Purcell.
I want to thank everybody tonight who made this happen and who participated in democracy. I'm running because ultimately this office is about service. My decision to run for city council comes from years of involvement in Richmond's civic life and a belief that our city deserves leadership focused on solutions, not projects. Richmond faces real challenges, and we also have real strengths, and our vibrant communities, dedicated residents, and tremendous economic potential. What we need now is leadership that focuses on collaboration, transparency, and practical problem solving. Leadership that listens to residents and then delivers the results that they need. If elected, my goals are simple: strengthen our economy, improve public services and public safety, and ensure that our neighborhoods have a voice in shaping the future of our city. Thank you, and vote for Jamin Purcell.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Ms. Gallen.
Like many families in our community, my family knows the pain of gun violence. I could have walked away from the pain, but instead I turned it into purpose. Like many families, I know the pain of gun violence too well. I could have walked away from that pain, but instead I turned that pain into purpose by founding Keys to the Future, supporting our youth and families who deserve opportunity, healing, and hope. I believe the future of Richmond depends on the choices we make today, investing in our youth, creating real economic opportunity, addressing homelessness with compassion and solutions, and making sure development benefits the people who lives here. District 4 deserves leadership that shows up, listens, and fights for the community every day, for all of the community. My name is Keisha Gallen, and I'm ready to serve and help build a safer, stronger Richmond for all, because Richmond is one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gallen. Ms. Robinson.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight and share with
Is your mic on?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. The one question I have is, where are we at today in the city of Richmond, really? The lowest homicide rate ever. Financial security, over 20% of reserves, surplus budgets, improvements on our street, increase in $7 million annually in investments, buildings, our parks, new parks, a host of positive projects moving forward in the city of Richmond. Now is the time to stay on this positive path. Keep building a future that every Richmond resident deserves. I've been working to improve Richmond for over 20 years, well before being elected to public office. And if you want to know one thing I'll do, look at my 2 decades of accomplishments and 3 years of votes on City Council. I would appreciate your support and your vote. I'm Doria Robinson.
Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Evans.
Good evening once again. Thank you all for being here. My name is Brandon Evans, and I'm the son of South Richmond. I'm running because my family has been in this community for 4 generations. They've run small businesses here. They've been community leaders here. I am running to continue the track record of service. I stand on the shoulders of those who have come before me: Irma Anderson, Jim McMillan, Federal Glover, true public leaders, true public servants. I wake up every day and get to invest and contribute to those underserved in this community. I'll bring that same mentality when I'm elected to the City Council. I pose a question to the City of Richmond: is this the best our community can be? Are we serving everybody? Does everybody feel safe in our city? Can we be a beacon of hope around the world? I think we can be. I don't think we are today, and that takes leadership at the City Council level and by working and partnering with community members. So I would appreciate your support on June 2nd for City Council in District 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Evans. And last but not least, Mr. Singh.
Thank you again to the League of Women Voters and to everyone who came out tonight. I'm running because I want Richmond to be a place where people can build stability, not constantly struggle with the basics. We deserve clean streets, safer neighborhoods, and a city government that actually listens and follows through. I'm not here to play politics. I'm here because I live these issues every day, just like the people I hope to represent. I believe in practical solutions, accountability, and a city that works for its residents, not around them. Richmond has real potential, and with grounded leadership, we can make improvements that people actually feel in their daily lives. So I ask not just for your vote, but your partnership in building a better Richmond. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. And with that, I would like to kick it over to Ms. Linda Whitmore for our closing remarks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. As our moderator said, I am Linda Whitmore, and I'm co-chair of tonight's forum. And on behalf of the League of Women Voters of West Contra Costa County, we wish to thank our moderator, Champagne Brown, and all of the candidates for participating in this evening. Thank you also to our audience for taking the time to become informed voters. We appreciate the many volunteers and partners who helped organize tonight's event, and consider this your invitation to join us on April the 19th at our annual luncheon. If your question was not addressed tonight, we encourage you to contact the candidates directly. Their contact information will be listed on the screen. Be there for a little while so you can write it down, but I think we're going to be showing this on a regular basis so you can get those contacts. Online voter registration is available at www.sos.ca.gov. And please remember to vote on June 2nd, 2026. Thank you. Good night.